What's going on, guys? And today we got a brand new video with Cathie Woods. As we all probably know Cathie Woods by now, got a big name in 2020 when she was really beating the market, investing in all these companies that were just doing amazingly. And now, not so much of that story, but she has recently done something that I think everyone could learn from because it doesn't really make sense in the world of investing. She's made moves that don't make sense with what they're talking about. And that includes Coinbase stock and her selling it and talking about the entire theory of long-term investing. And they were so bullish on the company, everything was great, but they sold at basically the bottom right before some big news came in and Coinbase stock pumped. So if you fundamentally nothing's changed with a company and you like that company and you invest in it, probably buy the dip instead of sell it. This is a list full of all the companies that Arkk Invest is invested in. That's Cathie Wood's fund. You see it's Tesla, Zoom, Roku, Block, Exact, I don't know what that is, CRISPR, UPath, Teladoc, Coinbase, and Intelia. So she likes to say that, they're super innovative, investing in the biggest innovating companies that are going to break through and just make a ton of money and be worth so much money. And something like Tesla, sure, you could give that to Tesla, but it is a massive company already. So Tesla doubling would probably be a pretty difficult thing to do once it's like the $1 trillion market cap. Once you start getting up there, doubling stocks and stuff, you got to bring a lot of money to the table or a lot of hype, and the hype usually doesn't last. But looking at some of these other things for innovation, Zoom, not really innovative. What's innovative about Zoom? It's a FaceTime for business meetings. Anyone can do that. You don't need Zoom to do that. Anyone can come along and make video things. You could hop on a Discord call and do the exact same thing. So not super innovative. You can even do this with Skype, and that's how old now? So her second biggest holding, not really innovative at all. Roku had a huge burst up, but has fallen big since. I don't know. Roku, streaming service stuff, kind of smart TV thing. So, we'll see how it all plays out. But again, not super innovative, not something where it's like, wow, that's going to change the world. So, all these things, it seems like kind of trying to push and say they're super innovative to, make them worth more and say they're doing things unheard of. But even like Teladoc, like something like Teladoc is phone calls or Zoom. It's basically like Zoom meetings with your doctor. So you don't have to go to the doctor's office to talk to them. You can talk to them over Zoom or something. The big problem is, why do you need a company to do that? The individual doctor's offices or hospitals can implement that and then done. Teladoc doesn't matter because they just use it themselves. So innovative might be a stretch for a lot of the things in the Arkk Invest holdings here, but that doesn't mean anything in here is going to zero or can't go up in value substantially. But the big one here is Coinbase, as you can see, is 4.28% of the entire portfolio at about $436 million. And they sold off like $80 million worth of the stock at $52 a share. Very, very bad timing to sell that off. You can see right here, they sold 1.4 million shares of Coinbase stock during the plunge, basically at all-time lows almost. And you can see they sold the stock for $56.70. And they offloaded about 80 million, $79 million at the time. Absolutely ridiculous that they're selling Coinbase at the lows, because why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you sell a stock that you're so bullish on and they talk so much about it and love the future of it and it was going to be doing great things, and they end up selling the stock instead of buying the dip? Usually that's what you do, is buy the dip on a company that is you've done your research on, is fundamentally nothing's changed. If it's nothing's changing, its business is still going about as usual, and you are still as bullish as you were before on the future, you should probably want to pick up cheap shares, not sell them. So that's the problem that we had. And you see, Arkk Invest bought 215,000 shares of Coinbase on a single day last year when Bitcoin fell below 30K. And that was the price around $220 per share. So quite a drastic change in the cost of the shares. And you see, they're so bullish. They were talking about, the Arkk analyst was talking about January, that Coinbase is an attractive long-term play, but they didn't hold on to it for long-term, and they sold it at a massive loss. They broke all the rules. If you think something's an amazing long-term play, how are you going to hold on to it for a year and then sell it for a massive loss. Clearly, not too much belief in there. And the worst part is that they got proven wrong on why you don't try and time the market and why you judge things off fundamentally. If nothing's changed, why sell it unless you do not like the stock anymore and don't think that your case you came out for is going to become the case that happens. And they came out very soon with Coinbase going up 54% in the past month, even the past week, 52%. With massive news of BlackRock coming out and partnering with them and working with them and getting institutions involved in the crypto world or digital world. So you could see they sold basically right before this big move up started to happen, a few days before, or maybe a week at most. And this massive move up, they sold $80 million worth of shares. That would be worth what, like 120 million, a little over 120 million now, that you could have sold now if they wanted to. So that's why you could buy if nothing fundamentally changed. There's no reason to sell. If a company is still doing what they came out to do, if they're still making money and their revenue's looking good and they're still moving towards every goal that was set out for them, and fundamentally nothing's changed, then there's no reason to sell the stock unless you desperately need the money, and then that's just a bad situation to be in. But if fundamentals are still good, probably buy more at lower prices and not sell. And this was the big news that came out for Coinbase that really started to push it up, combined with like a short squeeze type thing. Coinbase shares soared 10% in boost from meme traders. People are saying it was talked about a Wall Street bet, so it must have been meme traders coming in buying the stock. And then BlackRock crypto deal. BlackRock, the massive deal, because they have $8 trillion in management, so they have a lot of money. If they get involved in something, the price moves. So they're getting involved in it. That's going to move the price up. You can see them saying right here, services in the company's prime offering will be available to clients of BlackRock's portfolio management platform for institutional investors. Aladdin, the company said in its blog, Coinbase will provide crypto trading, custody, prime brokerage, and reporting capabilities. And then you see BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, with $8 trillion. So when they get involved, money moves, the price moves. Right now, we know them, Coinbase getting into institutional investors would be good for crypto too, because things like Bitcoin, if institutions are really interested in getting in, they're probably going to pile into things like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and the price goes up. So good news for crypto overall, good news for Coinbase, bad news for Cathie Woods, who sold just a few days or a week before this news dropped for no real reason. Nothing changed in Coinbase. Nothing fundamentally changed. There was no problems happening. They just ended up getting the wrong timing and getting proven pretty wrong in a short period of time. But it's a pretty good lesson for everybody to learn, because Cathie Wood's a huge figure that people were touting for the last 2 years, and she still could turn out to be one of the greatest investors ever. But right now, taking quite a hit, where a lot of people were excited in 2020, 2021 about Cathie Wood and Arkk Invest. And it seems like a lot of things have gone wrong for Arkk. Some investments that were maybe a little too overvalued that they got into, thinking the companies are going to grow and be amazing, got drastically cut, and a lot of money's lost. Things like Coinbase, Roku, they were involved in Shopify. They lost a lot of money on that. So there are things that go wrong, and even the top investors that people say would have everything together and know what they're doing can make the dumb mistakes and pay the price of losing lots of money. And the bigger problem is it isn't her money. This is clients' money, and she's managing money for people. So that's the biggest problem here. Is she sold this dream, said Coinbase was going to be this amazing company, so innovative, and the bull case is ridiculous for the future. Coinbase is going to be great. And then stuff happens in the markets, things start tumbling down. All of a sudden, Coinbase is down drastically, and she sells it for some reason instead of either buying more or just holding it. And now you see the pump up in price where she lost $40 million, like $45 million, something like that, because they sold instead of held or even bought more, even though nothing changed with the company. So just kind of some things to point out with Cathie Woods, with investors, like high name investors, that making the same mistakes that everybody else makes. And when you have a company you really like, probably don't want to sell it unless you absolutely have to. And you might even be buying more until something changes that you disagree with. Then selling could make sense. But until something like that happens, there's no real reason to try and get out of stocks that you really like. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. And there are to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next